Hey everybody, happy Sunday to you guys and your families. It is a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous day here in Texas. So I wanted to do this video outside. It's been a very long day for me already. Up at 3:30, getting some homework done. I'm in a digital journalism class, and it's not my strength. Even though I post these videos and stuff like that, journalism in itself, in totality, is not a strength of mine. Communicating, oral communication, meaning public speaking, and writing, those are my strengths. But the journalism piece is not a strength of mine, so it's been challenging at best for me with this class. I'm still at like a 89 or something. I have another assignment that I have to tackle later on today, and that's going to take me several hours. So I just wanted to take a break and do this video for you guys today. There was something that was on my mind that I was contemplating and I had been thinking about for a while, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Just thinking, watch the kids. Watch the kids. So often as parents, we get inundated with responsibility. Life requires us to do so much. We got to work, we got to go here, do this. We have to be responsible for our financial means, our social escapades, emotional things that transpire in our lives, psychological, physiological, relational, and all type of relationship dynamics that we find ourselves involved in, and the like. And so we have a lot of responsibilities. If you're like myself and you do entrepreneurial endeavors and you work traditionally and you have a family, it's a lot. And I'm in school on top of all of that. So I have a lot of responsibility, and I'm writing in the middle of 2 books being published. So I have a lot of responsibility going on right now. Nonetheless, I'm not complaining about it. It just is what it is. Encompassed in all of that, I have children. I am a mother, and their father passed away 8 years ago. So it's just been myself and my children that have been on this journey. So when I say watch the kids, I can really tell you firsthand what that translates into. And even in watching, quote unquote, the kids, you're going to always miss something as a parent because children don't divulge all of their information to us. They have other confidants, like their peers. Sometimes it's an educator, sometimes it's someone that's clergy, sometimes it's a random adult that they may have met in some type of environment where they felt safe to confidently share information with. My children went to a purity camp. My daughters went to a purity camp a couple of years ago, and one of the leaders there was a counselor, and they actually felt very confident in expressing themselves with her, and she still is instrumental in their lives till today. She's been one of the major people that I've been able to tap into to help me as far as with my children's sexual identity, which is really important when it comes to your children. So watch the children. What I mean by that is you have to be very in tune with your children, their mannerisms, their behaviors, how they carry themselves, their likes, their dislikes, what speaks to them, what they kind of don't want to have to handle or deal with. You got to kind of watch their personality as they evolve into young adults, kind of see what type of person they're gravitating towards. They have a lot of influences, and the main ones are their peers. Their peers are more of an influence than we are as parents. And so the people that they spend the most time with are the people that they go to school with. Watch the children. Watch how they behave. Watch how they're thinking. I know that we find a lot of adversity in raising teenagers. Believe me, I totally understand. It is a very, very challenging task to rear teenagers. Nonetheless, let's just remember that in order for us to have become adults, we used to be teenagers. So we have to be really, really tolerant and very patient with our teens and not ostracize them or push them to the side because they're going through so many changes. I mean, in the teen years, they go through drastic, unprecedented physiological changes, psychological changes, emotional. There's so many things going on in their body at one time. They're transitioning from a child to a young adult. They go through all of these changes. A young girl starts to have womanly changes in her body temple that takes her from being a little girl into young womanhood in her teens. And a boy, he goes through a drastic, extremely drastic metamorphosis as a teenager. It is bananas. I have both genders, and having watched both genders go through their changes as teenagers, it's a lot, to say the least. And it's not bad, it's just a lot that happens with them while they're teenagers. So nonetheless, I just want you to watch the kids, watch your children, keep a close watch on them while they're teens. I mean, not being intrusive, but being intrusive in a sense, and making certain that you know what they're doing. Watch out for them with those cell phones. I have two very dear friends of mine that are guys, and when they told me how their sexual identity got tainted, it made me almost afraid to leave my house. One of them stated to me that whenever his parents were gone, he would call his female friends over and have them to do things in front of him that he saw on pornography. And the girls would agree to it. He would never touch them, but he wanted to see them in a very sensual light. And so he would just sit there and watch them. And then after they would leave, he would self-gratify. And he said this went on for years. He said even into his adulthood, he had this really tainted view of women, that they were an object, not an individual. And so he suffered through a horrible marriage. He has a couple of children. And even to this day, he goes to a sexual addiction group, kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous, to get the help that he needs, because he said he still struggles with seeing women as individuals as opposed to objects to manipulate and get to do what he wants them to do. And he shared with me how he first got exposed to pornography at an extremely young age. And he was saying that his parents weren't home. They were always working. And he was a very quiet individual. So they felt like he was okay. He was an A honor roll student, never got in trouble, great athlete. But he had this sexually deviant identity that he masked for many, many years. And I had another friend of mine who talked about his uncles and elder brothers, how they exposed him to pornography to teach him how to make certain that he didn't fail sexually when he began his sexual journey with young ladies. So he was sharing with me how his uncles and elder brothers were instrumental in him becoming a sexual deviant. And so it's just a lot of things that go on that we need to be watchful for. So just think about it. If your kids are always with their uncles or aunts or cousins or this and that and the other, and they're not with you, you don't know what's going on. You have no clue. Most of the molestations and things that happen with children happen with family members or close family friends. We got to be real watchful. Watch the kids. I'm not doing this video to make you afraid, but I want to make you aware of what could happen if you don't watch the kids. It's imperative that we keep a close watch, as close as we possibly can, on our children. Spend time with them, invest time having conversations with them, and not trying to sound as though you're trying to dig up information, but just trying to identify the type of person that you're dealing with, because these are people. They're going to become people in society. And we want to make sure that our children are morally, ethically sound individuals, able to make well-informed decisions, good choices, and they live a life that is healthy to the best of their God-given ability. And we want to make them equipped to do that. So we definitely need to watch the kids, watch their spending habits already. When you give your child resources, how do they spend it? What do they spend it on? What speaks to them when they get money? Look at that. Look at how much time they're watching television, how much time they're on YouTube, how much time they isolate themselves from the world and play video games. There's a lot of things that we need to be cognizant of and aware of when we have children, especially in the teenage years. The preteen and teenage years are times when we really need to invest in our children and don't be away from them for events at school and stuff like that. Show up, be there, be supportive as best as you possibly can. Watch the kids. We do not want our children to cross over into adulthood with a bunch of dysfunctions and issues that they cannot repair for many, many, many years. I suffered greatly as a result of not being quote unquote watched as a teenager or really poured into by my parents for a number of reasons. And so I just want to encourage you and admonish you guys to watch your children, invest time in them, spend time with them, get to know them as best as you possibly can, because you want to be an advocate, but you also want to be an individual that they can come to and trust with their secrets. And if adversity shows up, you don't always want your child to run to someone else for protection and safety. This is Coach Koffe in Houston, Texas. Just wanted to sit with you guys for a little bit and just encourage you to watch your kids. Have a blessed balance of your Sunday, and I will see you guys again in the upcoming week. God bless.